Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brooks Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of May 2nd, 2018. We're already into the month of May, and a ton of stuff is coming out soon. You're going to get a preview of it. Free Comic Book Day is coming up this Saturday, May 5th. So get down to your local comic book shop to grab up some of the free Comic Book Day books that are out. Yeah. Let's get right into the pull list. First up, we have Action Comics Special number 1. Curious to see what the special entails, what it's going to mean for the Superman universe going forward. With Bendis taking over Action and Superman, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I did enjoy Bendis' story in Action 1000, so I'm really hopeful and excited for what Bendis is going to bring to Action and Superman, but I'm still a little hesitant, so we'll see. But yeah, fingers crossed. Next up, we have Batman at number 46. This continues the gift story arc where Booster Gold is trying to give Batman a wedding gift, and it's just completely and utterly not a good gift, and it's horrible, and things are all crazy. But Tom King's been doing an amazing job on Batman, and it's just fantastic. I actually got a chance to read the issue before recording this, and I love it. I've been basically reading every issue of Batman twice. And then I'm going back and reading the hardcovers when they come out. So Tom King's just been knocking it out of the park with it. Next up, we have The Curse of Brimstone, number 2. I did enjoy the first issue, so I'm going to check out issue 2. It's part of the New Age of Heroes that DC is doing. I don't think it's going to last very long, but it is an interesting story, and I'm curious to see where they take it. Next up is either a free book or a book that's 25 cents this week, and that is DC Nation Zero. It's only 25 cents or possibly free, depending on what your store wants to do with it. We ordered a ton of it because we got a store exclusive cover. I'll show you that later. Yeah, this has 3 stories that are basically starter stories for what's going to happen with DC going into this summer. It's got a Superman story, it's got a Batman story, and it's also got a Justice League No Justice story. So Scott Snyder, Tom King, Joshua Williamson, James Tyrion IV, and Brian Michael Bendis. So you should grab this and check it out. If you've been curious about where DC's going, or in general you just want something cool to read. Next up, we have Rick Remender's new one, and that's Death or Glory from Image Comics. I was curious, so I'm going to check it out. I'm hot and cold with Rick Remender's work. I'm not a big fan of Deadly Class or Black Science, but I have liked some of his stuff in the past, so I was going to give Death and Glory a shot. Next up, we have a book that hasn't been out in a while, and that's Hickman's East of West, number 37. I don't even know what the release schedule is on this anymore, but I enjoy East of West, so I'm going to keep going with it. Yeah. Next up, we have Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles, number 5. Mark Russell's done an amazing job on this book. I've been enjoying it. It's a great read. Having to deal with McCarthyism and that era of United States history in regards with the Snagglepuss character and Hollywood and all that stuff. Really cool stuff. Next up, we have Green Arrow, number 40. He looks like he took a beating. So I'm curious to see what happens there. Yep. Yeah. Next up, we have Green Lanterns, number 46. Green Lanterns has been okay with the changeover from the previous creative team, so I'm curious to see how well it holds up, but it's been okay. Next is a new number 1 of a 2-issue miniseries, which I think 2-issue miniseries are kind of dumb. They should just do an oversized, giant, $7.99 issue, and basically they'll make a penny more. So, but separating into 2, I don't know. But it's Harley Quinn, Harley Loves Joker, number 1 of 2. Yep. Harley Quinn, Paul Dini. Can't go wrong with that. And last up on the pull list, very tiny week this week for me, but it's Frank Miller's Xerxes, the fall of the House of Darius and the rise of Alexander. That's the the quote on the front. This is issue 2 of 5. It really harkens back to Frank Miller's 300, so I've been enjoying it. Frank Miller, for the most part, recently has not been the best, but I have liked Xerxes, so if you're curious, check it out. I did grab some variant covers this week, so let's get right to it. DC is officially going to their Bear variant, which doesn't have the logo on top, or the character logo on top, or the font and stuff. It's very bare, so that's the new style. I'm not a big fan of it, just because when you go to file back issues, it's a pain in the butt to look in a different spot. But they're pretty cool. Next up, or first up, we have the Batman 46 variant there. So you can see Batman 46 is down here. So it's great when you're trying to look through a long box and you can't see what number it is. So you're gonna have to memorize covers, but that's a bitchin' cover. So you should buy that. Next up is the DC Nation Zero Comics Conspiracy variant for DC Nation Zero. I'll open it up for you. But we basically, the only difference on ours is the back, as well as this presented by up here in the corner. We went for a very simple thing in the front. On the back, Leanne Hill, Ryan's wife, basically photoshopped this as the back. Very simple, very plain. Big logo, celebrating our address, all that stuff. So, yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, we have a bunch of those to give out. Yeah, good stuff. Next up is the 1 in 100 variant for DC Nation Zero, and that's the one with Superman on the cover there. It's not my favorite one out of all of them. The next one is the 1 in 200 variant, which is awesome, and that is the Batman, Joker, and Catwoman variant cover. This is the 1 in 200. And then, of course, there's a 1 in 500 variant for it, and that's the Justice League variant right there. There's a bunch of store exclusive variants for this book, but the main ones are the main cover and the 1 in 100, 1 in 200, 1 in 500. So I did like the Bear variant for Exit Stage Left Snagglepuss Chronicles number 5, so I snagged that one up there. And of course, the Harley Quinn, Harley Loves Joker had a Frank Cho variant, which I picked up. Yeah. Next, I did grab a graphic novel that came out this week, and that is the Suicide Squad Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 2. Volume 2, Book 2, I don't know what you want to call it. This collects Suicide Squad issues 9 to 20. Really nice oversized hardcover. I like what DC's doing with their hardcover collections. They're really cool. I've only opened one and read one, and that was the Batman one. And I can't wait for the Volume 2 to come out in June. Yes. So, yep. That's pretty much it for this week. I did grab one book to read, and that's Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness, Avengers number 1, or Legacy. I'll bring it up closer. The Legacy, LGY hashtag or number sign 691. Not the best way to do legacy numbering, but Avengers number 1 comes out by Jason Aaron. I've read it. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of Ed McGuinness' artwork as much anymore. I think it's very stylized and for a certain type of book. So I'm not the biggest fan of it. And it really you kind of lose something with Jason Aaron's work with Ed McGuinness as the artist, because of the scope of what Jason Aaron is trying to accomplish in his story. We do touch on the Marvel 1 million BC kind of stuff, which is cool because that's from the Legacy that came out about a year ago now. So we're finally getting something from that. But I'm just not really all in, mainly because it's a good first issue, but it's really just the start of a story arc, and it's another big bad, and I don't know, it just seems it seems to me not something that I'm telling people they have to rush out and buy it. It's that good. So, if you like Avengers, it's probably up your alley. If you've been reading Avengers and getting it, keep getting it. It's legacy numbering, but it's a number 1. I don't get it. There's a bunch of variant covers for it. Good luck finding all of them. So, yeah, that's it. So, if you have not seen Avengers Infinity War, stop the video now. Don't go forward. Because all I'm going to do is spoil some Infinity War stuff and outro. And there's nothing really special in the outro, except maybe, the standard episode, the next episode of Comic Conspiracy, but that's in the link in the description below. But don't click it this time because it's Infinity War, and we spoil the shit out of it in that podcast. So if you haven't seen it, don't click on that. But there also is a link to pre-order stuff through Comics Conspiracy. I need to make sure it's the correct link, but we're taking pre-orders for all 13 covers of Amazing Spider-Man number 800. So there'll be a link in the description below for there. So if you are not wanting Infinity War spoilers and don't really care about the outro too much, you can stop now. Go on about your business. You can come back and watch me talk about this later if you want. But now I'm going to get into Avengers and Infinity War, and there's going to be spoilers. So stop now. So I went and saw Avengers Infinity War on this past Saturday. I went by myself. Ryan didn't do a big group thing because the theater near us that we normally go to is shut down because they're renovating or remodeling the mall there, and there's a whole bunch of construction. So there's not really too many places to go that we enjoy going to. I ended up going to a theater around here called AMC Mercado 20. And I was able to buy pre-order tickets online for a 10 o'clock show. I left at 9 o'clock and drove a different way because I knew Levi Stadium was going to be packed on Great America Parkway, so I avoided that. But I got to the theater. Miraculously, the parking lot was packed, but miraculously I found parking real quick. Got in line. Waited a little bit, got inside, was a little weirded out by the security trying to escort some crazy guy out, but that was taken care of. And so the movie started, or previews happened, movie started, and I watched Infinity War. My concerns going into Infinity War was that this build-up for Thanos has been building for like 6 years. The Marvel movies have had 10 years and 18 films at this point to get us to this point at Infinity War. And so with the amount of screen time that Thanos actually has gotten in those 18 movies is very limited. So I was very concerned about how well they were going to pull it off going into it. Luckily, I was pleasantly surprised that they did a fantastic job with Thanos' character. One of the things that bothered me about the Thanos character in the comic books is that he is courting death by doing all this mass slaughter and genocide and all this stuff across the universe. And to me, that always felt like a very weak motivation for somebody to basically kill all these people. I understand it. I understand the boy trying to impress the girl trope, but when it came to Thanos and what he was doing and the constant it's not working. To me, he's called the Mad Titan for a reason, and I think it's just because he's batshit crazy, which is an interesting concept. But because it's that I love death, I need to impress death mentality, it never really clicked for me. They did a fantastic job in the film of taking that and just not paying attention to it at all and making it about more of a intellectual and logical viewpoint of him going, there's very limited resources in the universe, and these planets have limited resources, and these populations are just exploding and out of control, much like what we have here on planet Earth. And so the best way to basically help the universe is to get rid of half of the population of the universe, just randomly. Not like, oh, you suck, I'm going to kill you, or I don't like you, or you're okay, F you, not that, just random, 50%. So it's a very, very good approach to Thanos, and I really enjoyed it. They also gave him some depth of character with his relationship with Gamora and showing some of the past where she's a child and he finds her and all that stuff. And there's just really poignant moments. There's a moment when Thanos cries, which it's not like sobbing tears, but it's painful tears, and it's really, really good. And it gives him a dimension that really makes him a very three-dimensional villain. In the film, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. The Russo brothers did an amazing job on this film. The writers did a great job of giving every character enough time on the screen, but giving Thanos enough time on the screen to make it satisfactory. It's such a satisfactory film. People ask me if it's my favorite Marvel film, and I can't say for sure because they say it's not a part one, part two scenario anymore, but to me it feels like a part one of a part two story. So whatever they decide to name the next film, to me it will most likely be just part two. It's like Avengers Infinity War Part 1, and then it'll be Avengers Infinity War Part 2, and then whatever name they want to give it is what I'm going to attach to the end. So it's a good, solid movie. It's up there. It's probably my second favorite Marvel movie at this point. Winter Soldier still beats out this movie in my opinion, just because of what Winter Soldier did at the time and how well-rounded it is and how solid of a standalone film it is. So yeah. A lot of cool stuff in the film. Again, I talked briefly about the writers. They did an amazing job giving us all the character screen time, and they did that in a sense of breaking up the characters into kind of groups and then subgroups of those groups. So you had a lot of threads going on, but it wasn't so crazy that you couldn't follow them all. And I thought they did really well, really, really good job with it. Some of the moments that I really enjoyed were the Spider-Man's legs that pop out of his armor. That was a cool scene. When Thanos is getting the individual Infinity Stones, it's always awesome, especially towards the end when things are happening. Yeah, so the movie is really just, I would recommend you go and watch it in the theaters. It's going to be hard to avoid spoilers with the memes that are out there. And I don't even know why I'm mentioning this, because people that were supposed to stop this video and not watch it for spoilers aren't even going to hear this. But with all the memes out there, they're funny memes. It's hilarious. But man, that's a brutal way to cull most of the Marvel characters, and you just obliterated a lot of people after Thanos snaps his fingers after he gets all those gems. But I think that Marvel shot themselves in the foot a little bit in this film, with this film, and going forward, because we already know that Spider-Man: Homecoming is going to have a sequel, as well as Black Panther is already slated for a sequel, and those are two of the characters that get ashed in the film. So who knows? I did enjoy it. I do highly recommend watching it again. I need to go watch it again. But Deadpool 2 is coming up soon, so I'm super stoked for that. And the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer dropped the other day, for the new trailer dropped, and I am super excited for Ant-Man and Wasp. I loved the Ant-Man movie. It's still one of my favorite Marvel movies, because it's just a nice breath of fresh air with what the other Marvel movies do. So I'm kind of appreciate that after this film we kind of get a palate cleanser with Ant-Man and Wasp, and hopefully with Captain Marvel, which that end credit scene where Nick is using his intergalactic pager, because apparently that's the only way to communicate spaces with an intergalactic pager, before he gets obliterated or ashed away. So it's cool that we're going to see Carol Danvers or Captain Marvel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm excited to see that. Well, that's it for this week. I got a lot of reading to do, lots of stuff to catch up on. Action Comics 1000 whooped my butt for free time, just with the amount we shipped out. I think we ordered almost over 1,400 copies of the book, and we have only about maybe a little over 100 left. So with pre-orders and selling out, ginormous book that's just sucked a lot of my time. So I got a lot of reading to catch up on, but definitely go grab that DC Nation Zero. I highly recommend it, and get down to your local shop this Saturday for Free Comic Book Day. There's going to be a ton of stuff out there for you to check out and see. if you like something new. It's also good to take kids to. So, yeah. That's it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of Infinity War, as well as what you think of any comics that you're reading that I'm not, or anything that I'm reading and you want to chime in. Please remember, it's the internet. It's a place of general chaos and nastiness, so be nice on those comments. You know, we all have differing opinions, and that's fine. But yeah, cool. Let's keep them nice. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. You can also listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just recorded episode 353, where we spoil the shit out of Infinity War and talk about Infinity War the entire episode. Yeah, we had a podcast for 3 hours about a movie that was 2.5 hours long. That's just our MO. So if you need something to listen to and entertain yourself for a while and you've seen Infinity War, check it out. If you haven't seen Infinity War, you can check out our other podcasts episodes at www.geekbox.net. Just click on the Comics Conspiracy podcast button. I think it's on the right hand side, and you can go find older episodes where we interview Dan Slott or Scott Snyder. We are going to be having another special guest towards the end of this month, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, what else do I normally have to say? Oh, I will be getting stuff up on my eBay store, so if you're curious about what I'm purging from my collection, go ahead and check it out. There'll be a link. There's a link in the description below. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. I gotta get this video up. I also have to run errands. The work's never done. Oh, I know what I forgot. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees and paying for food sometimes and getting products. So to all our Patreon backers, thank you very much for your support. We could do it without you, but you make it just so much better and so much easier and so much nicer, and we appreciate it. So yeah, so that's it. I'll see you next week.